In contrast to caution, surrender, and aspiration, there comes a time for growth, movement, and action. A time to lay aside uncertainty and listen to the body. A time to connect with community in satisfaction. Greetings, beloveds. This is Amy Caryn Johnson, the Earth Channel, here with you today with the 7th of an 8-part series. So we're almost done with the 8 gates of the Diamond Heart Center. This is also known as the G Center in human design, and the gates correlate with one of the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching, which of course came long before human design. So that was the first half of the poem for this gate, which is gate 46. It is connected to the September Equinox, which will be the autumn equinox for the northern hemisphere and the spring equinox for the southern hemisphere. And the plant that I have chosen to represent this gate is the first one so far that is a true vine. It is the Laurel Clockvine, as the common name is that I found. I recognized it not by the name, but by the image, the picture I found of it. It's an annual flower in the climate where I live that can be purchased at nurseries in pots, but in more tropical climates, it is definitely a vine that can sometimes be invasive if it's not in the right place. But it was especially appropriate for this gate because of the fact that it is a vine, first of all, but also it's really beautiful. It's known, I think, as a miniature petunia, or I can't remember what the other name is that I've heard it called in the area where I live. But it's very pretty. It's got lots of flowers, and one of my preferred methods of stress relief is actually what they call deadheading, pulling off the spent flowers so that the plant has more energy to produce new flowers. And there were plenty for me to do when I had that flower in a pot at my home years ago. I didn't have it last year. But that begins to illustrate for you the value of the energy of this gate with a delightful sort of beauty, a tenacity, which will be coming up in the second half of the poem at the end, as well as just enjoying the physical urge to grow. You know, not necessarily grow in size for our bodies, but just to enjoy our bodies for what they are, promote their health, find things that enrich it, and that sort of thing. So that is the gift of this gate, of this energy, and that I believe is very well conveyed by the Laurel Clockvine. Before I get into the message from Gaia about this gate, I wanted to briefly share with you something that's going on in the cosmos in the near future. As I'm making this video, it will be early in the coming week. I spoke about this a while ago, but those of you who have only seen my more recent videos may not have seen the video where I spoke about this. We have, for about 4 months now at least, had in human design, and of course you can search for any free human design chart creator if you're curious about your chart and you have not done so already. But for all of us, the nodes of the moon, Rahu and Ketu, have been defining the both throat and sacral centers as they are defined by those placements in the sky relative to the earth and as they correlate with those gates in the human design chart. In addition, for a couple months, not quite as long, we have had Pluto and Uranus defining the crown and third eye centers, also known as the head and ajna centers in human design. And so with those two groupings, basically, those two up here and the two down lower, those two groups are not connected to each other. I have noticed for myself, and I believe others as well, that lack of connection between the head and the throat, basically, has caused some problems, both physically as well as the way we just go about our daily lives. It has caused sort of like a rift between our mental sides of ourselves, which, are good and needed. However, it can be overdone. Or some other people have just gone straight to action and speaking without thinking, with that other grouping being more dominant perhaps for them. There may be a few people out there who, with their natal charts, do bridge that gap, but I am not one of them, and I'm sure there are plenty of others like me with this sort of rift happening. The good news is that early this coming week, those two connections, those two groups that are connected within the centers of human design will no longer be defined. Both of them are moving on in terms of the placements of the nodes of the moon, as well as Uranus and Pluto, at least one of them. And if one of them moves on, as far, I think it's Uranus, I can't remember for sure. One of those two moves on, that means that the whole channel is no longer defined, as well as the centers at either end of that channel. So sorry if I'm getting into something a little bit more complicated than I intended for this video, but I didn't have time to create a live video this week. I really needed to take care of my own body, which is appropriate for the themes of the gate that I'm speaking of today, primarily the 46th gate. And so I just wanted to include it in this video. With that being said, one last connection between among all of these things going on is that if you happen to err on the side of sort of spitting in your own thoughts during this time, especially in the last 2 months or so, this energy of the 46th gate will especially help you just to drop back down into your body and appreciate its wisdom. Like I said, the mental capacities that we all have are good things, but they can be overdone, absolutely, especially when they are not connected to the other centers of intelligence within our bodies. And if the energy gets stagnant and stops flowing quite so easily, that is when that happens. So that is one of the main physical things I've found happening for me. I'm hopeful that by the end of this week, as those energies dissipate, at least consciously, the brunt of them dissipates, I will have fewer issues with my throat, as I've been having recently, having to clear it a lot. Some of you may have noticed that in my videos. I often try to edit it out, but I can't do that for live videos. As well as just a feeling of stuckness in my throat area. And it's been very uncomfortable. And I have found that dancing helps, singing helps, speaking helps a little bit, but it kind of impedes speaking to a fairly large degree. So I've certainly been challenged. I'm glad I've found ways of dealing with it, but I will be happy when it is more just a little more balanced, a little more connected, a little more flowing, I guess I should say. Okay, let's get to it. The message from Gaia. Feel free to join me. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Hello, this is Gaia. In exploring the energy of Gate 46 and the Laurel Clockvine, we appreciate everything that Amy shared with you just now. We have been attempting to assist her with the difficulties she has had. And one of the things that we have helped her to find, to do, that she did not mention, is some yoga poses in addition to the dancing, in particular bridge pose, and that may perhaps help you all as well. Of course, only do exercises, movements, and positions to the degree that you feel absolutely comfortable, taking full responsibility for your body, your choices, and your wellness. With that being said, if you too connect with us, whether that be through grounding meditation, through going outside, being in nature, through getting your hands into the earth somehow, handling plants, handling your food, and even by just fully dropping down into your body and appreciating all that your body does for you. Your body too is of the earth, is from us. And we know that there have been many bodies of thought, philosophies, and religions in the past that have not honored your bodies, especially the intelligence within your bodies, as much. We greatly wish for you all to reconnect with the intelligence in your bodies. To appreciate all that they can do in terms of movement, stillness, holding different positions, and once you have sufficiently moved your bodies, as much as they need to move, as much as they want to move, that intelligence will then become more audible to you, more understandable to you, and you will better be able to become aware of it. With your astrological charts, in particular your birth charts, but not limited to those, they speak to your life path to a degree, your characteristics to a degree, but also to your bodies. Your bodies and minds are the filters that you chose to incarnate with in this lifetime. They represent the original intended filters by which you bring a little slice of source into your worlds, into physical reality, and into expression. And when fully realized to the extent intended, they represent the unique gift that no one else can offer in this lifetime. We invite you to breathe into that truth. Allow it to settle into your body. It is not merely your mind, merely what work someone else can tell you to do that you can accomplish, that represents your value on this earth. It is that unique je ne sais quoi of how you do things, how you say things, how you are in this world that is of value. Once you tap into that essence, that is the time to go for it, to milk it for all it's worth. When you first begin to do this, you may hit road bumps, you may regress at times, you may go back into your heads, as Amy sometimes does when things get more stressful at her day job. But more and more, you will find the ways to bring that unique expression into your moment-to-moment life. Through movement, through breathing, and through allowing the energy of Source to flow completely through your body, from top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side, allowing yourself to be a vessel for that special way that you have of bringing forth that energy into your world. We thank you so much for joining us. Namaste, beloved. I will just briefly say before the second half of the poem that I have much more to offer you if you are interested at my website, amycarynjohnson.com. Caryn spelled Caryn. Check the links below for more information. Though one gardener may curse and hack a vine down, another may welcome its vibrance and tenacity. In the right place it grows where nothing else will, sharing its vigor, delight, and guileless audacity.